Linda Barcz from the Roots Company is here, taking your calls at 270-9933. There's some hot peppers there.
There's some pretty hot peppers. No, it's interesting. Everybody's talking about eat. I believe that they can be eaten. They're quite hot. They're meant to be decorative, though. We've got yellow and red and purple all together, and the beauty is they stay colorful into the fall season. So I know we're back to summer right now this week, but this can be used as a decorative element in your landscape.
Very pretty.
Yes.
You got kale there and cabbage and sunflowers.
And the Northern Lights chard, that is definitely edible. That can be used as a wonderful greens. It's good in soup. It's another substitute.
It's chard. I said kale, I think.
Yeah,
That would be
chard.
wrong.
Is it okay?
I think your microphone is banging against.
Oops.
Okay,
I'll
all right.
fix it up here.
Let's go to the phones. Let's start with Patty in Wisconsin Dells. Hi, Patty.
Hello.
Hi, what's your question?
Yes, I have a question about hibiscus trees. I've got one hibiscus tree and another one that's not, it's just kind of a bush-like one, but I've had them for years, and I cannot get them to blossom anymore.
Patty, that's interesting. I met a lady named Carol. I thought it was Carol when you said hibiscus problems. My hibiscus is blooming just fine this year, but Carol was saying that hers is not blooming also. I assume that you're fertilizing it like usual. Did you cut it back extra hard? She's gone, huh?
Yep.
Okay, because sometimes if they get overly large, people cut them back quite hard. But I would say that with the weather, especially with the warmth that we're coming into now, as long as you're fertilizing it, having it in the same kind of sunlight conditions, they should be flowering like crazy right now. I've got lots of buds on mine.
All right, let's go to Sue in Verona. Hi, Sue.
Hi.
Hi, what's your question?
My question is, I have a new clematis plant that I bought in the spring. It did flower like the end of May. Not much growth has happened since, and I planted it to a year-old clematis, and both of my clematises are planted in the southwest portion of my garden, and the leaves are like turning black.
Ooh, okay. Well, clematis, southwest, that seemed a little bit hot and sunny for me. Now, earlier in the season, we were cool, so they should have been doing fine, and maybe that blackening shouldn't be occurring just yet unless there's a fungus issue with them. Clematis are one of those plants where they like the roots cool, and they like their heads in the sun. So they like cooler roots. That's why I'm a little bit worried about the southwest. Unless you want to transplant them, and since they're already having problems, I don't know whether this is the best thing to do. I would mulch them to try to keep the soil cool, and maybe plant some additional plants at the base to provide them some natural shade.
So they might like an eastern location.
They would like eastern location is typically, that's the ideal, yeah.
All right, Judy in Cross Plains. Hi, Judy.
Hi.
Hi.
What's your question?
I have got a Russian sage that has kind of outgrown the area where it is, and I was wondering if I could cut it back and when.
Okay, the Russian sage is growing gangbusters this year. They're loving it, and they're quite huge. If you just want to cut sections of it back rather than the whole plant, I wouldn't suggest cutting it back like you do typically in the spring where you start it all over, but you could certainly head those branches back and sort of treat it like a shrub. If it's just getting too large, cut portions of it back and then do your typical renewal pruning in the spring.
It's not going to hurt it.
No, it won't hurt it if you prune that sections back.
All right, Richard in Baraboo, go ahead with your question.
Hi, Linda.
Hi.
I have a question about harvesting rutabagas. In 2 weeks, I want to dig my rutabagas, and I did it last year, and within 3 days, they were soft and moldy. I had removed the leaves and the crown and the root and put them in our fruit cellar, and within 3 days, they turned moldy and soft, and I was wondering what I did wrong.
Well, I'm thinking that perhaps I'm not an expert on rutabagas by any chance. I'm just wondering about the harvesting time, also the way you cured it. I think that I would leave some of the leaves attached. Let me do some checking and talk about rutabagas next Monday, because I have not grown them.
All right. All right. Tune in next week.
Okay.
Shirley in Merrimack. Hi, Shirley.
Yes. I have some burning bushes they're supposed to be, but now they're trees. And I'm wondering if I can trim them back or when.
Okay, burning bushes, if they've gotten overly large, probably, if you're going to do a drastic pruning on them, I would wait until early spring next year. You could do a portion of it now. It's just that I'm concerned about doing drastic pruning before we go into our fall season, hardening off. You might push some growth that then doesn't adapt over the winter. But if you do it in the spring, you're going to have wonderful results, because then the wood will be gone and the growth will push out.
And you don't want to do it now, because then you get the big burning colors in this fall.
That's right. You'd be losing out on all your fall color.
All right, we're out of time. If you're on the line, stay there.